Well, good morning. I am back here in the camper, and I've taken it apart. There's a whole pile of parts right there. There's a whole bunch of stuff missing up there. And down here. What are we doing? Painting. That's right, I am going to paint the walls of the camper. And based on some research, I've learned that it's not quite as simple as painting the walls in a house, but it's actually not too dissimilar. There's a few extra steps to do, but shouldn't be too terribly unmanageable. The biggest thing is prep work, much like any type of painting, but more so with RV walls versus house walls. Why is there extra prep work? Well, the walls that look like covered in wallpaper are actually vinyl. It's a vinyl material that is laminated to the Luan, and you're not gonna pull that off. Could do wallpaper, but from what other people told me online, the high humidity levels that can occur in campers actually will make the wallpaper delaminate over time, and it's better just to straight up paint. In preparation for that, going to hit vinyl material with this 220 grit sandpaper, clean it off with TSP, and then start with Zinsser primer. This is what was recommended to me by Home Depot, and also a few posts online that recommended this particular one even after I bought this. The other primer that people tend to use is Kills, which actually, now that I think about it, probably should have done the Kills primer just because I'm familiar with it and I know how well it works. And also people said that the Zinsser, this, is a little more watery than Kills. And then we're going to be top coating with Bear Dynasty, and this is a slightly warm white with the wood tones that we have in the camper. And after doing a little bit of work in Photoshop, I decided that warm white was going to be better. So it's like you've got pure white and it's like 2 shades warmer on the color chart. So I'm going to start off by doing the prep work. Like I said, I've already taken apart all of the trim pieces. So I've got some in the refrigerator here, a whole pile right here of trim parts and pieces. Obviously that box is apart so that everything is exposed. Easy to paint without having to worry about painting stuff that doesn't need to be painted. The only spot that I didn't remove the trim is this piece of trim right here, this one up here, and that one right there. And this piece right here, because this piece actually goes all the way up underneath the refrigerator. So I'm just gonna have to very carefully pry this out a hair to cut in against it when I hit this surface, but otherwise the rest of the trim has been removed and we are ready to start. You'll notice at this point that I started off sanding by hand, but quickly got tired of that, so I switched to my random orbital sander. After that, you'll notice that I started wiping the walls down with acetone before I hit it with the TSP that I mentioned before. And that actually did remove the color fairly well, but it wasn't enough to prevent painting. If I was to do it again, I actually wouldn't use the acetone. It was very fumey and honestly kind of a waste of time, except for the floor surface of the bed that I'm kneeling on right now. That was good enough to just get the color off of that surface, even though it's just going to be covered by the mattress. Sanding. Time to mix up some of this and get all of the surfaces cleaned and ready for paint. At this point, I decided to start wiping the wall down with acetone, which did remove the color, but it wasn't enough to avoid painting. Alright, got a mid-cleanup update here. It is looking so much better in here. I mean, look at that. I decided to go halfway here so we could actually see the difference that I mean. It's so much brighter in here already, and that's only halfway done. And I still haven't done this panel here. I've only done half of the bed deck as well. Kind of waiting for that to dry. But yeah, it looks a million times better white versus that disgusting beige color. It seriously, it looks like somebody smoked in here for 40 years. That's just the color it came from the factory. No, this has not been smoked in, but it sure looks like it. So I'm really, really happy with the results so far. I gotta get out of there because those fumes. Yeah, definitely don't regret the effort that is going into making this white on the inside. I'm going to get ready to start hitting all of the edges of everything with a brush, and then I will be able to hit all of the large flat surfaces with a roller. Got all of the walls primed now. And my timer just went off that I can start painting up there. It's been, the can says an hour, I let it go for about an hour and a half. So I'm going to start painting up in that corner and work my way around the same way that I just did. And this should look really good when it's all done. I'm actually super happy with how it's turned out so far. I've got a few spots where I couldn't get the roller close enough to stuff, so there are some brush marks, like right here there's a few mild brush marks. Up here I couldn't hit with the roller very well, so we'll see. Painted the bottom side of the cabinets here, so that's white. And then right up along this I also couldn't get the roller, so there's brush marks there. I might see if I can tape that off and just mash the roller into it so I've got roller marks in the actual final coat of paint. But for the most part, it's got a really nice texture to it in the primer from the roller. It almost looks like spackling on a wall. Yeah, that texture that the roller, I was able to get on there with the roller, just turned out so good. It'll hide those transition seams quite nice. I can hardly see this one. I'm really happy with how this is turning out so far. So, going to get the paint shook up here and start doing the final coat of paint. Yay! This has turned out very good. I need to clean up a couple of spots that I didn't have taped off. I'll do that after the paint dries though, and that should come right off with a little bit of acetone. Overall, I am really happy with how this came out. This little bit here, that'll be covered up by a trim piece, no big deal. And it is already a million times brighter in here than it was before. And I don't even have my fancy new lights installed yet. Let's start taking apart the area behind the kitchen and get ready to put the contact paper on the wall. You'll notice that suddenly the lighting has gotten a lot better. I'll have a video coming out on that soon. Now that I've mechanically removed the silicone as best I can, there still is a layer on there that I need to finish getting off. So I'm going to use acetone. Use chemicals at your own risk, follow the safety protocols, wear a mask, gloves, eye protection, ear protection, face protection, skin protection, whatever. Don't get the stuff on your skin. Acetone's nasty stuff. Probably give you cancer in the state of California. I'm not responsible for how you misuse chemicals or properly use them. I'm not responsible for your decisions. You are. So I'm going to use acetone to start by removing that, and then I am going to actually just scrub down the entire wall with acetone to clean it in preparation for the contact paper. Let's get to scrubbing. Okay, now that I've got the wall and countertop surface next to the wall cleaned up, all of the silicone is acetoned off. I shouldn't have to use any more acetone in here, thankfully. Going to work on installing the contact paper. I don't know what I'm doing with this. This is not my thing. If you have helpful tips, definitely leave those in the comments. Keep the hate to yourself. But leave helpful tips in the comments and tell other people what I did wrong so that they don't do what I'm doing wrong. I'm going to install the contact paper. This has lines on it, so I want it to be level. Not as level as possible. I want it to be straight. And it also is not quite enough to do all the way. I'm short by just a little bit, which is going to make this a bit challenging. But, I don't know. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. So I'm just going to unroll this and get going.
Just watch me do this. Show me what you got. You think you're able to keep up with me? And if we're side by side, they'll never even be ready. There ain't no telling what will happen next. But I can tell you it's my move and I ain't never stressed. I know I got this. Just watch me do this. I know I got this. I know I got this. I'll just watch me do this.
Well, that could have gone worse. I almost ran out. Like, I literally had exactly the length that I needed, so I'm glad I didn't cut that wrong the first time. Oops, I missed this piece here. There we go. Yoink. There we go. But that looks really, really good. The seam is almost not noticeable. I say almost. You can kind of see it, but it's, well, I can't see it from where I'm standing. My wife will be able to see it because she's a foot shorter than I am. There's one little wrinkle right here that caused a misalignment here. That is okay because that's going to be covered by the curtains, and actually that might even be entirely covered by the trim piece. So yeah, I'm not concerned about that at all. The rest of it looks just dandy, and I can still see the holes for the accessories that were on here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that stuff back on. No reason not to. That looks a whole lot better. And I'm gonna run a bead of caulking around all of the edges too, so the contact paper doesn't come off. But that's a million times better. Not quite as nice as an actual tile backsplash would be, but it's lighter weight, and honestly, even though it took me an hour, probably a much easier install. And it looks really nice. It looks way nicer than the beige. The last thing I have to do is put vinyl wrap over this window that goes to the cab of the truck. This will prevent people from being able to see in when we have the camper off the truck. It will also prevent light spill if we are covert camping. All right, and there we go. That is blacked out. It's not perfect, but I'm okay with it for now. And see what we get from the outside on that. Should be nothing with two pieces on there. Yep. Oh, what? Never mind. I guess we do have a slight bit of light leak through there, but that's fine. You can't see in. All right. Oh, that's where I stopped for tonight. Here I am months later, finally filming the outro for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully that helps you learn how to paint your camper. The next camper video that I have is going to be installing these fancy new recessed lights in here. Pain in the butt, hugely worth it. And as I've used the camper over the last few months, it's definitely the single biggest upgrade next to the paint that I have done. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you on the next video.